son of Diego Martin, and I went to QRC. Graduated in 1998, I believe, right? I got a full certificate, all the passes that I was supposed to get. But you remember that thing called A-levels that you were supposed to do right after O-levels? Yeah, I never reached that far, never got to that. But my family decided, they said, you know what? We've been saving and you look like a good investment. You're bright, you're smart, so we're going to send you away and you're going to go to London to further your studies. And instead of going the full way to get the bachelor's, I came back home to Trinidad and Tobago. Upon coming home to Trinidad, I, as any school leaver without A-levels or a degree, I went through the working at, well, back then it was called Hilo. It wasn't Massey Stores, you know, because Hilo back then I was everything. I was from a rapper, they call it, not like Kanye West, but you know, a rapper, actually wrapping groceries and putting it in the bags. And then I graduated, yes, I tapped myself on the shoulder for that the day I got the promotion to cashier. And from Massey Stores, I graduated to Direct One. And I remember working there and trying to sell the Aspire Visa credit card. And the script that they gave us was a script that wasn't working at all. I couldn't get any sales. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to rewrite this script. And then, ding, a light went off in my head because I started getting a lot of sales. And I was like, wait, but you're good at writing, boy. There's this course that Lonsdale, Saatchi and Saatchi Advertising was doing called Creativity. I believe that year was 2099 with a great guy by the name of Mr. Jerry Besson. Right? And I remember going to the course and I sat there and he schooled us in how to write commercials, how to voice commercials, how to produce commercials and all of this thing. And wow, I fell in love. I fell in love with writing, selling ads, composing, songwriting, you name it, I could do it. And I could do it fast too. I was like, right, this is my passion. Then I got another job at CMB, that's Collier, Morrison and Belgrave by the grace of Mr. Mark White, right? I worked for him there. I even became the audio production manager at that job. And my salary doubled. I remember at Direct One, I was making $1,700 a month. Yes, $1,700 a month. And my car loan, because you know, when you're a Digo boy, you had to have a car. So my car loan was $1,200 a month. But then my salary doubled when I went to CFB, or tripled, I can't remember what it was. And I was like, wow, Cloud9, now woo, I'm rich. So I quickly became one of the popular guys. I ended up liming with the DJs and becoming quite popular. But what shocked me was I remember seeing an ad for a mortgage in the newspaper. And then I saw the qualifying salary if you wanted to own a house anywhere that's you would want to live and raise a family in Trinidad and Tobago. And I looked at it and I was like, wow, my doubled up salary is still going to leave me homeless. So I needed an extra source of income. So my outlet was, okay, you're popular. Use your popularity and turn your popularity into profit. So I began to throw events, parties, that type of thing, renting out nice nightclubs. I remember Mr. Mitchell Collin, he was the first guy that allowed me to throw one of the biggest events that Trinidad ever saw. And one thing led to the other. I ended up a somewhat sizable party event promoter. But something was still missing because I knew you can't stay popular forever. Your party won't always score. So I needed something else. And then I remembered while at, I think it was CMB, I worked for Mr. John Stone for Audio Concepts doing jingles. And he looked at me and he was like, you know what? You could come up with jingles, and I said yes. And I remember writing commercials, and in an agency you're just supposed to write the commercial and go with the lyrics to the studio. But I could sing. So he was like, hey, we catching me tail here to come up with a melody, boy. You feel like I come up with a melody? And I think, yeah, I came up with it. I can't remember what it was. I think it was for Diamond Motors or one of those companies. And I sang it. I was like, yeah, it should go like this. La, 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 la. He was like, you could do that? Well, come to my office afterwards. And he gave me a check. He was like, you know what? This is beyond the call of your scope of work. So here's some extra money. And I was like, ding, ding, ding. Look, extra money. So good. So I decided to explore that. And then one thing led to another. I ended up being a brand ambassador for Holiday Snacks with the Zuki and Tim Tim brand. They gave me enough capital where I rented a building in Woodbrook and I built a recording studio. Right? You can see it there. My studio looks somewhat like that. So now I had a building. I ended up leaving my job at CMB. I went full time. I remember Mark White telling me, I was like, Mark, the party's doing good, and the studio making a little thing. So you feel I should leave? He was like, well, I really feel you should leave, because I write in your warning letter now for being absent for so many days. I was like, all right, cool. so, so I went on and I created so many ads and so much stuff, but something was missing. They always looked at me as a small guy in the thing, and I was like, wow. And I missed working for agencies. I missed the brainstorming. I missed, all the collaborations and stuff. And I wondered, how can I bridge the gap between that and this? And I remember everybody always telling me, no, you can't do this, and no, you can't do that. But there was one guy called Mr. Kenatal from Lonsdale, Saatchi and Saatchi. I heard about him. He was a forward-thinking individual. I said, you know what? Let me apply and put a different proposal to this guy. And I went to Mr. Kenatal, and I was like, boss, here what's going on. I have a studio. I can write. I can produce. I can sing. I know everybody in the business. Give me a shot. Let me do your commercials for you. And he was like, you know what? You can't do all. But you could do some. So I got a nice contract with them, and I now graduated to the point where I got married. Give me a round of applause, please, for doing the right thing. This is my baba here. This is the reason why I do everything. I always tell my boss, whichever boss I have, I say, I don't work for you, I work for her. This is the reason why I do it. Now I have a 3-story building where my daughter could go on the roof. This is my rooftop here. And she calls it a rooftop of dreams because it was her dream to always be on top of there. I call it my brainstorming place where I now go and I create ads and that type of thing. And yeah, that's my story. It's not so much of a rags to riches because I would never like to dishonor where I came from by saying I came from rags. I did not come from rags at all. I came from a good home, but the opportunities were very scarce. We were always viewed as the underdogs. No one ever wanted to give us a shot. And what I had to do a lot in my life was say no to no. I had to do that a lot. Everybody was always, you cannot do that, or you cannot do this, or I don't like this. And I always had to be like, you know what? I don't care about you. I am going to do it regardless. And so far, I like to call myself a whip, a work in progress. By God's grace, I'm making it happen. And I'm in a better place today.